It's time for Recipe of the Day. Back in the day, I used to always boil corn on the cob, and I will be coming to you with my method for boiling corn on the cob in a little sugar water soon. I know that is on my schedule coming up. But then years ago, I discovered that microwaving corn on the cob was super convenient when you just need like a couple of cobs just for dinner tonight, nothing special. So that's what I did for a long time. And then came the air fryer which changed my life in so many different ways. If you love your air fryer, you know what I'm talking about. So I have discovered that air fryer corn on the cob is just as easy as the microwave. It takes a few more minutes, and it's really great because you can have it just cooked so it's like yellow, plump, juicy kernels, or if you like it kind of like a little toasty, a little bit of that like grilled kind of flavor going on, you can leave it for a few more minutes, which is not something that you can do in the microwave or when you boil the corn on the cob. I'm actually partial to just the just cooked kernels where they're just yellow and juicy and not dried out or browned at all, but I do know that some people prefer that, and so the option is always there. Now you're going to be hearing me talk when I talk about corn on the cob about adding sugar. So like I said, when I learned to do corn on the cob and boiling it from my mom, she always puts sugar in the water and it brings out the natural sweetness in the corn. You never put salt in the water, it toughens the kernels. But sugar, yes, yes, yes. And so when I would microwave the corn on the cob, I would sprinkle the tiniest bit of sugar on the cobs before I started. And now when I do the air fryer corn on the cob, what I actually do is mix the tiniest bit of sugar in with the melted butter that I'm brushing on the corn, and it just brings out that little pop of extra beautiful sweet. It tastes like the freshest, just picked from the garden corn on the cob, even though it probably isn't, even though you probably got it from the grocery store, but it just does that thing. Of course, if you do not want to add the sugar, you don't have to. It's just a little trick that I've learned. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to shuck your cobs of corn because we're not going to leave any of the silk or any of those husks on there. We want those off of there. Then, very important next step, and I know this from experience, if you don't do this, it's a super huge pain. The next step is to make sure that your cobs of corn fit in your air fryer basket. If they are too big, if they're too long, you're going to need to cut them, use a very sharp knife on a cutting board, or break them in half. The reason I am stressing that you do this now is the next step is to spread the butter on the corn. If you spread the butter on the corn and then try to put it in the air fryer basket, you now have to try to cut and or break those cobs while they're all slippery wet with butter. And it's pretty much impossible, or at least I could not do it. So I'm telling you, please check first. If they don't fit, you can always break them. Now my air fryer fits 4 cobs perfectly, and I can do 6 if I kind of stack them in there. Then I have to stop and move them around a little bit more, but it totally works for 6 as well. But the length is good for my air fryer basket. For most cobs, I have gotten some longer ones, and then they do need to be cut. So please do check that. Okay, once you know that your corn is going to fit in your air fryer basket, you're going to get your butter mixture ready. It's 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter that you're melting, and then you're adding 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt to that and that little pinch of sugar. Then you brush that all over the cobs of corn. Now this recipe is for 4 cobs, so that's the amount of butter. I will say that I have tried using just half of the amount of butter, or even just like some cooking spray, olive oil cooking spray on the cobs to start, and then doing the butter at the end. That works as well. So it doesn't really matter. You need a little bit of some kind of fat on the corn. It kind of protects it from drying out and helps it to cook. Okay, so you do want a little bit, but you can add just a little bit and then not add any more. Add it at the beginning, add it at the end. That doesn't really matter. I like doing it at the beginning like this because then that sugar is getting contact with the corn while it's cooking. That's why I do it this way. So I use all of it and brush it all over those cobs. Then they go into the air fryer basket and you're cooking them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't have to preheat the air fryer first. Just get them in there and it's for 5 minutes, and then you flip them over and cook them for another 5 minutes. At this point, it is how I like it. It is fully cooked. They're plump and juicy. The odd kernel might be a little brown, but not like fully, not a ton. So that's where I take it out and then eat immediately. Now, if you like yours a little bit more browned, you're going to flip them again and then go for 2 to 3 more minutes, then give them a flip and another like 1 or 2 minutes. And they're pretty well browned at that point. If you like them darker, you can go darker. Of course, if after that first 2 to 3 minutes, you like them just how they are there, you can stop there. But it's really like 5 minutes, then 5 minutes, and they're cooked. And then another, 2 to 4 minutes flipping halfway between to brown them up a little bit more. That's it. Grab your corn cob holders and maybe some more butter and get ready to dig in. It's delicious corn on the cob for sure. Okay, I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is July 15th of 2024. If you make this recipe and love it, or if you love any of the recipes that you've tried from either Cook the Story or The Cookful, those are my two sites, I would love it if you would leave a comment and a 5-star rating. The comments just make my day. I love hearing what you're making, what you've tried, how you've changed it. That really, really just makes it all worthwhile to me. And then the 5-star ratings, that really helps build my business. That brings more people to my site. As you probably know, when you search for recipes online, like on Google, it shows you the star ratings. It'll say like 5 stars from 1,000 people or something like that. And so every single one of those 5-star ratings makes it more likely that people are going to see those stars and click on my recipes. And then they're going to come and then they're going to make my recipes, maybe listen to the podcast, all of the things that make the business thrive. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.